think this would be a decent vehicle for, like I said, a small family. OLED, and of course the Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to review my 2021 Audi SQ5. It's kind of a overdue video. I've had this SQ5. I purchased it last year, 2024, last summer, with the intention of also, exploring its features, comparing it to the X3. Just kind of getting an overview. It's something that wife and I have once considered this car, and I've sort of been curious about it ever since, actually for a long time now. So this will be the second generation of the mid-cycle refresh in 2021. So they went from the B8 to the B9, and then this is a B9.5. And they've been this way. I think the 2025s are still looking just like these. I know there's a new style coming, but I do think that the 2021s is probably your best year to buy for, cost savings. This one, for Q5 and the SQ5, they kind of come to the same trim levels, but the SQ5 is its own specific model, where some cars, let's say for example the BMW X3, you have the X3 and you have different trims. Let's say you got a 30i and you have an M40i. The M40i, what this car competes with, a little different because this is the SQ5 is its own model. The trims are still going to be premium, premium plus, and then prestige. And the one you see here is a prestige trim. When you get to the prestige, and actually the premium plus, I think will be the sweet spot. Most people are going to get the premium plus. Premium Plus is going to give you pretty much everything. You're going to get the Bang & Olufsen sound system. You're going to get parking sensors. You're going to get the adaptive cruise control, the Napa leather. You're going to get a lot of features. I think what you're going to get in addition with the Prestige is you get a heads-up display. You get ambient lighting, different colors. I think there's a automated parking, and you get dual pane glass and headlight washers. And then let's see what else prestige you get. Oh, you get the matrix LEDs headlights, and then the OLED tail lights with, of course, there's, Audi's had to do an animation. I think Audi sort of leads the game when it comes to LED lights and their design and signatures, all that stuff. So let's go over the car. This one is equipped with the black optic package, meaning normally this would be sort of a chrome or sort of a brushed aluminum trim, with the grille being the brushed aluminum, some of the side trim, the window trim, and then the roof rails would be also kind of a brushed aluminum. But when you opt for the black optic package, it gives it a blacked out look, which I think goes well, especially when you get a black car. Exterior color on this one is called Mythos Black. Metallic y'all see it up close, you'll see the metallic paint, and then of course black interior, and goes from there. Does have the optional 21-inch wheels, which I would say this Audi SQ5 is nearly fully equipped. The only thing I think is missing would be the warm weather package, which the warm weather package gives it the manual window shades in the rear and front ventilated seats. But unfortunately, when you go to the warm weather package, you lose on the diamond stitch seats. So something to be thinking of if you're looking for one of these cars. When you're looking around the side of the car, you're going to see a couple of things. You're going to see, walk with you. It's got the red brake calipers, and you can see that the suspension is sitting a little bit lower. And what that is there's an optional S Sport package. And with the S Sport package, you're going to get the obviously the brake calibers are being red. The rear differential is going to be a more sport differential, so it has a torque vectoring, gives a little sporty handling characteristics. And then additional, you're going to have the air suspension, which can adjust the ride height based upon situation. So you have a sort of off-road ride height, then you have a dynamic ride height, which is what is in right now, which sits really low, kind of gives you the lower center of gravity. And then of course there's comfort and sort of your auto settings, which sort of, you kind of can custom tailor your ride based upon your needs. And I think the air suspension is the way to go. I mean, people are worried about the air suspension versus steel. I haven't really driven the steel suspension one. I couldn't really tell much difference with it initially, but with the air, of course, it gives you the advantage of just being able to adjust your ride height, and your dampers are pretty much immediately adjusted. So I walk around the car. Slip rear window kind of gives it a sporty profile here. You can see the quad tipped exhaust, which unfortunately on this model isn't real, but there is a $1,000 option which gives you the sport exhaust, meaning right now these tips are faux. There's nothing in here. You can see it's plastic. I don't know why Audi did this, but I think it's a way for them to charge you extra money, but the actual exhaust is right there. You get two on each side. Like I said, you can always add it later. You can add it when you buy the car from brand new, if you're looking at one of these like a 2025 or something. But that's what you got. You can see by this being a Prestige, you can see sort of the lights. It does little, I can see, I can almost tell the Prestige. Just the lights look a little different up close. Has a 3D effect. And of course the wheels. I think the wheels really set this off. I think my first color choice was the blue, and then white, and then black, and of course the black falls in my lap. It was the one that seemed to be the right price, and the one I seemed to go with. Now up front, you're going to see these. Got the Audi grill. Audi, it has not shy of with their grills at all. But down below, I'm looking at those little modules, or they're not lights. They look like they could be fog lights, and I think Audi designed it to give that appearance just for a design element. But really, what those are radar sensors, because this does have adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist. And I think that's, instead of having a big square like I know what BMW does or Honda does, I think Audi just put some on the side, so it kind of blends it. Looks like fog light. People aren't really thinking, second about it, but that's just one of the cool, neat features of this car. And like I said, it can parallel and park itself. You'll stay in control of the brake and accelerator, but it'll take control of the steering for you. It's got a panoramic sunroof. Depending on the color you get right now, the mirrors are color matched. But normally, if I didn't have the black car, usually the mirrors are black in color. It'll set itself apart. All right, here's the Audi key. Got the S logo here. So you press, you can lock the car. It gives a little confirmation beep, let you know locked, unlock. And then you can also roll the windows, open a sunroof, you touch a button, press and hold and unlock. Rolls that down. Okay. See the panoramic pops as well. And then if I want to close it up, press and hold here. And everything closes. All right. Also, by leaving the key fob in my pocket, I can just unlock the car. I'll get into it. Also, I can lock the car. And what's nice is that they're on all four doors. So if I'm putting a child in the back seat, I don't have to worry about having to open up the front door and then jump to the back. I can just go straight to the back. Okay, speaking of back seat, plenty of space back here. This is a convertible car seat. And it looks like right now it's going to be tight fit. The seat slides forward and back. So depending on where I'm at, if I'm starting to steer, I'm starting the back seat, I can slide this up. Like now it looks like I'm sitting up, but I can also slide this back pretty far, give myself more room. And compared to X3, it's slightly tighter than X3, but Not dramatic. You got also with the Prestige trim there. I forgot to add that there is heated rear seats with the Prestige, and then I think they all come with, at least the Premium Plus and above, come with the 3-zone climate control. I do have the 12-volt outlet here, and I do have the USB. It's not Type C. No, it's not Type C, but USB Type A port here. And then let's see, down in this side, I have 2 cup holders and an armrest. So, okay, seats do fold down. And then going over some of the trim. Got the carbon fiber trim in here, and you have some of this Alcantara like suede here, automatic windows, the Bang & Olufsen sound system right there. In the back seat there's like a mesh, and then of course just go over this the leather. Like I said, this feels, Napa leather just feels, it's a nice feeling back here. It really is. It's just soft. Telling you it's high quality leather. Up front, Bang & Olufsen has a little bit, grill has the Bang & Olufsen kind of a metallic or metal strip here. You do get some faux leather on this side, and then the carbon fiber trim. There's memory seats right there. You got 2 memory seat settings. Then up here you got your light settings. So you have your automatic setting. You have the rear fog light, which is here, and you have your front. These lights are for seeing in, like, inclement weather. They're not fog lights, but they're lights for inclement weather. And of course, setting for your heads-up display, and then of course you can change your brightness on your main display. Okay. When you come over to this side, now we're looking at your turn signal, lane keep assist options, adapter cruise control settings right here. Pulling it in different settings, and you have your distance markers right there. When you're over to the stalk on the right, there's automatic wipers. There's controls for the rear wiper, and then the switch here controls when you're in the automatic setting, the sensitivity. How many raindrops do you prefer to have before it wipes off? Okay. Got aluminum pedals here. Giant, pretty big brake pedal there, but so don't worry about missing that one. Your start-stop button is going to be down below. And then right above that, you're going to find your drive settings. Cancel your automatic start-stop, which means when you come to a stoplight, people don't like it when your engine turns off to save fuel, and this restarts when you resume driving again. So you can disable that. This quick button to turn off. Traction control button. This is a Prestige exclusive button. This is for the parking assist, where it self-parks itself. This is turn on parking sensors. Hill descent control. Turn off the display. And then, of course, you got your other displays, which I'm going to go over here in a second. This is one thing about the Audi SQ5. I don't understand these little cubbies. I don't know what to do with these. Like I said, I can throw my wallet and... Oops, I'm dropping my camera. Like, I'm a wallet here, I guess, or... I don't know what to really do. But I usually put the key in this little section here. And then, of course, you have your drive selector. You got your parking brake. And then to go back, you'll press the button to shift out of park, or then you go back into reverse, and then press back and to go into park. Down here you have your wireless charger, and then you slide that back. You expose 2 cup holders. The one on the right, which is, I believe, this could be a Prestige only option, is a heated and cooled cup holder. Okay. When you go in here, there's a USB Type C port there, and of course storage. And I think that you can set this up higher. It's got different, you can hear it click as it goes up. So you can set the height position of the armrest. Okay. You can see in the seats, the front seats have the S logo, of course, with the Napa embroider diamond stitch. Kind of gives it a nice feeling. Only thing I wish they could have did differently, I don't know if there's an option or not, but the dashboard, I feel like they fell short on it. I feel like I want a little bit different dashboard than this. Just this basic dashboard. and something with the speaker grill. I don't know. I mean, if you have a high-end sound system, you got all these speakers, but then they're just black grill cover. So I don't know, something a little different. All right, so let's get it started. Press start button, foot on the brake. And something I didn't never expect with this is the burbles and pops you get with this car. When you're in dynamic mode, it does downshift and it does crackle. It does, have a little character, which wasn't expecting it. Was not expecting it at all. Right now, showing the display, the main display. Right now, you see you got a boost gauge. This is your Audi Sport display. So I got the boost gauge, have your oil temperature gauge right there, fuel consumption, of course, navigation. You can also customize what you want there. I can have my Apple CarPlay stuff there, fuel level. I can go to memory, obviously, mile per gallon, energy consumers. So if I got different settings on right now, saying the air conditioning is drawing some power. If I turn on my heated wheel, that will draw power. Heated seat will draw power. And then let's say, all these other things that can draw. So if I turn off the heated seat and heated wheel, it'll show me like what else. I can see heated, I think mirror. Well, mirror's not even turning on. But there is a heated mirror setting in here that could potentially draw power too. And then of course you can go down and then there's driver assistance information, traffic sign information. Basically, it'll tell you if you're at a stop. Basically, if the light is going to be green or not when you approach these stop signs and traffic lights. I haven't got a chance to try that out yet, but apparently it tells you the speed you should be going to make sure you hit every light that's green. That's what I've been told. Of course, hitting the view on the wheel gives you more options, and you can see if you just want to kind of clean things up a little bit better, you can do that as well. Let's see. You can do a full map if you like. And then, of course, you do have your navigation stuff on this side, on this screen too. So you can do navigation, get your online traffic, which is also subscription based. I think a lot of cars on the factory warranty, you can get that going. I think it's $50 a year, or sorry, $50 every month, or $500 a year, which is kind of a little pricey in my opinion for what you get. But it all depends what you're looking for. I think with the way Apple CarPlay is going and the bugs and quirks of Apple CarPlay, I could see more people switching back and just using native navigations as these navigations get better and better. Got your music, you have your settings, you have, what I like is I have a garage door. So if I want to open my garage, I can open my garage right there. It's all electronically opened. No like remote controller, which is nice. No, I had to create an external remote control. It's all, when I approach my garage door, it'll actually pop up and say I'm close to my garage, and I can hit a button on the screen and unlocked. Also additional, I have what's called an integrated toll module. So now if I go to my home setting, go to vehicle, and I can show you what it looks like. Go to your settings, integrated toll module. So I can set up through for example, I'm in California, the Bay Area. Fast Track is our main toll, toll agency. I don't know what the right word is. I'm sure I'm thinking of it right after I do the video. But that's who runs the tolls around this area. But apparently this company is all through. So if you're in, like I said, East Coast somewhere, there's Easy Pass, there's to Florida, there's all kinds of different toll, like Florida I think uses some pass or something like that. So you can sign up and register and just link your account to this thing here, and they'll automatically pay on your behalf and using the built-in module, and you can set basically your occupants and things like that. And also you always know what you're on based upon here. Like I say, you got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, sound system is a 750 watt Bang & Olufsen sound system. This is all showing here with the controls. And what's nice too, when you're adjusting the settings, the ambient lighting also what turns from doing it down, the ambient lighting will turn blue. If I turn it up, ambient lighting will turn red. You know, on the settings, it's pretty cool. If a passenger adjusts something, only their ambient lighting will adjust. You know, according to what their needs were. It's pretty cool when it works that way. And of course, all these buttons are like touch sensitive, so I can set. You can see all the settings. I just kind of populate it there. So I can actually click these if I need to. You see what I'm saying? And then I just go back to auto. But I want the AC. Oop. Let's turn it down. So there we go. All right. Going up top, we have. I haven't shown up top yet. Let's see. Got your vanity with the light for both sides. These lights are also touch sensitive on these door lights, map reading lights, just touch. And then you have a sunshade, one touch power open. And then of course I have a large panoramic sunroof, which you'll see as this thing opens all the way up. It's a big sunroof. And what I like too, I hate to compare this towards BMW, but I like that this large section of glass opens up. BMW used to do this, but on my X7, for the glass extends from the front to back, you know, obviously if you know the X7 is a big vehicle, I get this one little section of panel that opens up just above the drivers. I'm like, this should be big glass, in my opinion. So I do like the Audis doing that. Just to get the tilt function, then I can click it again and then open the sunroof all the way up. Oof, and it's bright outside. But yeah, so it stops in that preset right there. That's where the little speaker will leave the sunroof. If you were to slide it all the way back, one more click, it goes back more. Reason why that setting is this, because if you open it to the far setting, you're driving on the highway, you're experiencing a lot of buffeting from the wind turbulence. So this is the way where it says, okay, this is the best setting to minimize the noise and the buffeting that you're gonna feel. So closing again, I can actually close both of those at the same time. And they'll close up. Let's see, let's go in the glove box. Damped glove box. We go into, obviously, like I said, we got heated seats up here. If I had ventilated seats, the button would be right there. But like I say, you lose out on the Napa leather. There's thigh extensions with the front seats, so you can thigh extender right there. Recline. No massage function with these. I know that the S4s have massage function, but this does not. But you do get your settings for your lumbar support. You can raise and lower the lumbar support accordingly. If I don't like the setup, say if I want a traditional setup with the gauge cluster. Some people may more, you know, like I don't like that. I want to get something more traditional. Let's see, settings, display and brightness, virtual cockpit, and you can see right now I'm in the S performance setting. And now I can go to dynamic. Let's see. And I'm not a big fan of the dynamic one. And your speed just sort of goes up. I don't know. I'm not sure I like that one. Then you get the sport, which I don't mind the sport version either. Looks a little more traditional, in my opinion. And then, of course, the red line adjusts based upon, right now, this is the maximum red line, that's 6.5 RPMs, 1,000 RPMs. Obviously, in the cold morning, I've seen that go to like a 5,000 RPM setting. So it all depends on what the needs are based upon the engine, as far as, you know, the temperature and everything else. Let's see. And like I said, I can go here and map. Let's see. Virtual cockpit's been around for a long time with Audi, but this is like one of the late model features with this. All right, fuel mileage. I think it's like 18 city, 24 highway. Not the best fuel mileage, but it's probably average in this class. Obviously, it requires premium fuel only, so make sure you're putting the proper fuel in this to get the best performance, best fuel economy. Like I said, oh, I meant to show you this too. This is how I pulled the seats down, and you can see how the seats fold down that way. So, and they click into place, so they're not gonna pop back up for no reason. They're just there. It is a slight slope, but if you need to load something in here, something long, you can. In order to pop that back out, you'll have to use this setting right there to pop that back, and then you can click it back in. And of course, if you're sitting back here, you can also recline the seat if you need to as well, if you're just for more comfort. Doors have a nice feel to it. I like the solidness. Some like German cars, I just like that. Just I don't know. It just doesn't feel. It doesn't feel thin. It feels like I'm in something safe and something secure. So right now we have showing trunk space. It does a kick to open trunk space. So if I just do this, kick to open and kick to close. Apologize, the wind is really picking up all of a sudden. But yeah, I can kick to open. And then, let's see. There we go. Let's see when it's on the trunk. Got a spare tire with the subwoofer right there in the middle. There's, of course, the air pump right there in the jack. The spare is also inflatable, so that's why it looks like the way it is. You basically fill it with air, so it saves some space. I do like the fact you're still getting a spare, but also you're still saving cargo room without having a big spare. When you have the S Sport package and you got the air suspension, you're going to get the ability to lower the rear, and the rear drops if you need to lower something that's heavy inside the car. So you can see how much the rear is sagging right now. And then, of course, when you're close up top, you can do lock, or you can do, close and lock, or just close only. So if you hit this button, it'll close the top. If I press that one, it will shut the trunk and also lock it simultaneously, assuming you have the key on you. There's the cargo cover. And then, of course, the seats fold down. You have split fold down seats. And then let's take a look at the car seat room. See, you have the ability to recline your back seat. And since we're talking about that seat room, you see where the car seat was. And you look right here, I'm 5'8", and I got the seat back as far as it go. And I'm sitting pretty good here with space. Like, I'm actually pretty content with the space I have. So to give you an example, like I said, I was thinking that this might be a car too tight with family if you have a car seat and everything else, but I never had to think twice if like I said, if you have a family, if you're just a family of even 4, I think this would be a decent vehicle for, like I said, a small family. Obviously, as the kids grow and they get bigger, maybe you might want to think of something different. But I think as the kids are smaller, or if you just, I think it's good. Like I said, unless if you're a tall family, Q7, probably the best way you can go. SQ7 if you want the sport. So let's go from there. And like I said, you get the same settings, the lumbar, as you do in the driver's seat. You can raise and lower, headrest adjustable. All right, let's take a look at the lights. Lights do have auto leveling, dynamic auto leveling. They don't do the swivel, but they're wide enough where you shouldn't need to. This thing really just crackle when it starts off. So these right now, I'm in the should be daytime running lights on right now. If I go over here, you got your parking light, then your headlight on, you got turn signals, and of course, Prestige, you get the front dynamic turn signal. On the non-Prestige, it just flashes off and on, if that makes sense. So the front side, it sort of scrolls across from middle to the end, or from inside outside. That's Prestige exclusive. So that's one way you can just spot a Prestige just from looking at it. And of course, you see the dynamic. It just has a different look on the front with the daytime running light. These things right here, these little slats, tell me it's Prestige. Okay, I'm gonna show you the headlight washer feature. Like I said, these headlight washers aren't meant to like clean it completely. But if you got like snow, ice build up on here, and lights are just not really being seen, fog, by the headlights being washed, gets all that stuff off. High pressure, and of course, if it's by being high pressure, I think it should be able to knock off. You have like the icer in here for winter work purposes. It should help melt all that snow and ice off. Before we do that, I'm gonna turn the light on. I'm gonna show you, because lights have to be on for this to work. And then I'm gonna show you the rain light should be popping on around, or inclement weather light right there. If I turn that button on, it just adds that extra one. But those same lights also are utilized at low speed cornering to illuminate the corners. So depending on the way the steering wheel is turned, it should eliminate the corners. But yeah, hitting that button right there activates that light. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna wash my windshield, and it should spray and wash the front. There you go. Bunch of high pressure. It is soapy water, because basically it is your same headlight washer. And I know people are like, well, I don't like it because you get all the soap on the car. Now my car's all covered with soap. And look at that. But first of all, if I needed to wash my windshield, I don't think this is going to matter that much, because my car's dirty anyway. If I got bugs and stuff on my windshield, that means I got bugs in front of my car. And the purpose of it is, like I said, is to help. But I know more and more manufacturers are listening to people that are going away from it. But I think it's just more the education of others not knowing the purpose of it. But let's go for a drive. I'll show some features. Also, one thing I'll show you, it's got the front camera, 360 camera. You can activate your park assist. We can switch between different camera views. So we have all kinds of camera views we can use. You can see the sides, the curb view. This is the rear tires. This is the front tires. So you know what you're doing. It's almost like for off-roading situation. It's like some of the things I've had in my Range Rover. Rear corner. Of course, a larger 360. Rear. Front. And a lot of these things switch in between. And of course, you can change your settings. It is rear cross traffic alert. Let's see. So now we're inside. Got the brake light right there. Symbol is bright. I think it's very bright brake light. Turn signal. Left and right turn signal. Now they all come with the dynamic turn signal in the rear. But like I said, the Prestige has those 3 blocks for the tail lights. So I'm gonna turn the lights on now, and you're gonna see the difference. How the lights are there's OLED. And of course I have the rear fog light, which is there. So the rear fog light should only be used in low visibility situations like heavy snowfall, dense fog, because it is meant for people to see you, not for you to be, I guess the word for it, not for you to see anything, because it's behind you. But for example, I have a video on this. I'll link it here at the end. But it's for people who like you know, those foggy situations, or there's dense snow situations, just heavy snow situations where you barely see the car in front of you. Activating your fog light will help your car be seen. And plus, the light being incandescent, as opposed to where all the lights are LED, when your car gets all that snow built up on the back of the car, the warm temperature from the incandescent glowing, I think, help mitigate and melt some of that snow and preventing it from, you know, obscuring some of the light view. Okay. Also, what's unique Audi is, let's say I got the trunk open. Those lights in the lower bumper illuminate if the hatch opens. So if I open the hatch now, I'm going to put in the brake just so you can see. You'll see how the lights switch from the hatch down to the lower bumper, because the lights are attached to the lower bumper. So right there is a way that they have that, so that way you always have some lights on the gate itself. Audi's been doing this for years. I think my 2011 Q7 had the same feature. Okay. And it should go back. Obviously, reverse lights. I think reverse lights are just still an incandescent light. All right. Let's get this thing going. I'm going to drive in auto mode. All right. Let's go for a drive. Now, one thing I noticed with this, in comparison to other Audis that I've driven, I took it to the dealership to see, and I drove other ones. Actually, you know, I never showed the heads-up display. I should have meant to show that earlier. So I'm turning the start stop off. But there's the head display. Doesn't do radio station or radio information like that, just mostly speed, lane keep assist, things like that, if you're in adaptive cruise control, things like that. So sort of basic comparison to, like, say, BMW, where BMW can go your somebody's calling you, you get that information. If you're using your radio, you're scrolling through that, you get that information as well. Okay. All right. What's cool with this is I like this drives so smooth. We are not, I don't know what it is, I just feel comfortable. I drove this on a road trip from Southern California to Northern California, and you know, it was a really good road tripping car. Let's see here. So we're gonna go to a little bit of back road, and then we'll kind of do some acceleration. That way we can get the feel for this thing too. Let me secure my phone, because I know things start to fly around once you start to push these cars. You don't know any loose items until you start to hit these corners hard. Actually, let's go to comfort mode. So comfort mode, I hear a little bit more sort of your turbo noise, because it's trying not to downshift. It's using more spool or more torque from the engine, so of course you're spooling the turbo more. Brakes feel smooth. They don't feel as grabby as BMW, but you do get a nice secure feel when you're braking. Pedal doesn't feel mushy at all. The driving position, I feel like I see quite a bit. The mirrors are large. No excessive blind spots at all. Audi does a really great blind spot monitoring. I think it's one of the best in the business, because when there is a vehicle in your blind spot, even before they are approached and reached you, you're going to get a warning, and it's not on the glass itself, but it's on the actual housing. But I feel like when it eliminates, like somebody's coming up really fast, you'll get that early warning. And I think, like I said, back in 2011, years ago, I was noticing that, and I noticed some of the manufacturers weren't doing it, and I noticed more and more are starting to catch on. All right, so I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna turn the camera around. Well, I'm talking right now, but when I start to drive, I want want people to see kind of like what I'm going through. So you hear that turbo noise? I don't know if the microphone pick it up or not. Let's see if I accelerate again. It's definitely audible. Now this one is the SQ5, if you don't know, is 349 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque. So when you compare it to the X3 and 40, you're a little bit behind on power. And of course, there's horsepower that everybody knows about, and then there's, of course, there's BMW horsepower, which is, BMW horsepower is sort of, I think, is different calculation because their cars always seem to be a little bit different than, a little more underrated. All right, let's turn the camera around. I'm in dynamic mode. Ready? See some water here. I'm just going to keep going, and it just handles it with ease. It's a little blind corner here, and people comment all the time like, "Oh, you're just driving that fast." Like, look, I'm not pushing faster than what I can see, but so more water. It's all these runoff. We had a lot of rain lately, but I think the engine has a nice good sound to it. The suspension doesn't seem to get that initial confidence feeling, but that differential, I feel like it just helps when you start to push around the corner. So I'm in third gear, 50 miles an hour. I'm gonna push in this corner, and wow, it sticks pretty well. And the engine, I can feel like it runs out a little power up top, but engine gives a nice sound to it. It gives you a little bit more. Sorry, I'm driving.
Approaching a railroad crossing.
Okay, wow. Okay. That was 80 miles an hour. Gears pretty long. For 8-speed, I feel like they're just been closer spaced, in my personal opinion. Let's talk about normal kickdown. So I'm going to drive. This time, am I going to slow? I need to pass. We're going 40 miles an hour. So let's call it 29. There's people walking and stuff. I want to be like, douchebag here. Let's go from 20 to 30 to 50. See? That was a long time. Long kickdown. So I'm going to tell you when I put my foot to the floor. Let's do it again. I'm in dynamic mode too.
Approaching a railroad crossing.
I know. That's Apple CarPlay. I think it's Waze. Have it on. Need to turn it off. All right, let's go to. So that was dynamic mode. I wasn't in the Sport True algorithm, but just wanted to show you what I'm thinking of. So dynamic mode, drive, normal drive. Most people are going to drive in anyway. Like people aren't going to go dynamic, but they're going to be in drive if they want. But I'm gonna let you know when I put my foot to the floor, and you're gonna hear the engine downshift and transmission, everything else kick into play. So ready, 1, 2, 3, go. This is the only part I feel like is lacking. It's just that response. It doesn't go when I need it to. Like that's a long time to be waiting for a downshift. Let's try 40 miles an hour. Let's see how long it waits. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. The BMW, like as soon as my foot's to the floor, it's almost like it's telepathic. It's already in the gear, ready to go. But it lacks. It's got turbo lag, and I think the kickdown. I think those two components just. This is what ruins the driving experience a little bit more. Now, if I put it in sport mode. Sport transmission, let's see if it's even better. But see, now it's holding a gear. It's not holding top gear. Let's try. Now see, it didn't do it as much. This guy's doing a U-turn in front of me. Okay. Yeah, it wasn't as bad, but it wasn't in this top gear either. So it's holding one gear higher than it normally would be. It does, upshifts, has the upshifts, little fart noises. I don't know what you call them, little burbles. But as it upshifts, it's a brr, upshifts. Brr, brr. So it does sound a little cool as it upshifts because it's not DSG, but it gives you that DSG like feel. But yeah, just that having like if I'm tipping the throttle, I need more power. Just feels like I got to floor it to get that power out of it. And if you're in comfort mode, go eat a sandwich between the gear shift before it decides to do anything. Because right now, comfort is probably the worst mode to be in. That's like if I'm on a long drive, nobody out there, I just want to be comfortable. I don't want to care about but comfort mode is the worst. Right here, comfort mode. Comfort mode actually didn't even downshift. My foot's to the floor, didn't even downshift. So, there's that for you. 40 miles an hour, try again. Comfort mode, let's go. Let's punch it again. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Doesn't hit the gear that I was hoping it would, but that's okay. Zero to 60 on this one is 5.4 seconds. Sorry, I got distracted by that nice X5 over there. First generation X5 looks like a 4.4 IS. But no, I felt like if you're comparing this and you're trying to decide if you want to get a regular Q5 or a SQ5, I've driven both. I spent more time in the Q5, where I felt like the 0 season Q5 is 5.7. This is 5.4, which I haven't been able to get that anyway. I honestly feel like there's not that much difference between, because you got the lighter engine, lighter car on the Q5, and you got the dual clutch transmission. I just feel like you got. I can see why people could probably get either one. Get the Q5 with the S line package; they look the same. Only thing is, when you get the V6, the sound of the V6 does help with the driving experience. But I do remember having the Q5 and renting that one. But if you like this review, give me a thumbs up. I know this is sort of a. All right, so I apologize. I didn't realize that the video cut off abruptly. I assume I was still recording. But wanted to say, if you liked the video, if you felt the video was helpful, or something you want to see more on Audi that I can do, if you have any questions about it, send me a comment below. I'll see if I can get the video as long as I still have the car. I had the car for a certain reason. It's about a year since I've had it. I did a review about 6 months after I've owned the car, so I've actually learned a little bit more things about it. And just wanted to also update too that the heads-up display, if you use the native navigation, it does give you lane guidance on the instrument cluster as well as the head-up display, and it does have color. It does a little bit more, and with the red light options and having it to tell you when light changes to green, that shows up on the head-up display as well. Only in certain areas, I noticed in California, can show the traffic lights and tell me how much time I have until it's green. But overall, I think it's a really good car. It's a really good daily driver. Really good car if you have a smaller family, maybe just maybe one small child. But of course, as the kids grow and you need more space, I can see how it can come be tight. My only complaint with the car is just I just wish it was a little bit more responsive for those kickdown situations where you might need to pass. Um, now I'm only referencing comparing to, like I said, I have a lot of BMWs too. So with the BMW, it seems like it just goes when you want it to go, and the Audi just seems it doesn't during wrong doesn't hesitate. Like I've driven Hondas, Acuras, and those transmissions are not, they're slow. But I mean, if you compare it to a BMW, I feel like the Audi is just slightly a little bit behind on that algorithm. But like I said, it could be just due to the turbo lag and then having to spool up, and it could be a programming issue. Who knows? Maybe I'll try to see if I can find a way to reset the adaptations and try it again. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment below. That really helps me and channel, helps the channel grow. And if you see something you like, check out other videos. I do a lot more than just car reviews. So thanks for watching.